the voters, seat Adelita Grijalva, and let her get to work for the Arizonans who elected her. And Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays joins us at the table.
You know what, General Mays, I think while we see what is happening in Washington with power being abused, all across the country in the states, governors and attorney generals like yourself are fighting back to preserve the rights of the people. And this is an example of that. I think that this lawsuit is not just about the 7th District in Arizona. I think it's about representation for everyone and the ability to elect someone and then have that person you elected seated. What precedent are you relying on to win this lawsuit? We were all very enamored and wondering that you chose to sue the entirety of the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
Why?
So great question. So we decided to do that because we wanted to make sure that we could quickly get to the merits of the case, and we didn't want Mike Johnson to make any sort of immunity claims. So we thought that was the best route to go. But what we're relying on is the fact that the Constitution and federal statute does not allow Mike Johnson, as the Speaker, to deprive my state of an entire seat in the House of Representatives. We are now down a seat. We have 9 representatives, but we actually only have 8 because Adelita has not been seated. And, you know, it's been 4 weeks since she won her election with 70% of the vote. And we've gotten about 6 or 7 or 8 different explanations from Mike Johnson about why he won't seat her. And, you know, it was long past time for us to do something about it. So I filed that lawsuit, and, you know, we will see him in court over this.
And you think this is about Epstein? You think this is about the fact that she's the 218 vote on Epstein?
I think you almost have to infer that. You know, I mean, what other explanation is there? There's certainly no legitimate explanation except that she has made it clear that she's going to be the final vote on discharging the Epstein files. You know, he's also been sort of making some statements that would suggest that this is about, you know, holding this over the heads of our congressional delegation, including our members of the Senate, Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego, and trying to get them to, you know, end the government.
Instead, they've been going toe-to-toe with the Speaker. Like, it is not working out for them the way that Mike Johnson thinks it might.
Right.
No, I don't think it is. But I'll tell you who it's definitely not working out for is the people of my state who are actively being harmed. Adelita Grijalva cannot represent the 813,000 people of her district. She can't help them with Social Security benefits. She can't help the veterans with their benefits. She can't help with the flooding issues that we've been having in her district. And, you know, we fought a revolutionary war over something called taxation without representation, and that is exactly what is happening in the state of Arizona.
So back in April, the Speaker of the House swore in Florida Representatives-elect Jimmy Patronis and Randy Fine during a pro forma session of Congress. And here we are now after an election in which Adelita wins. Not just wins, folks, she wins big. 70% of the vote. That's a lot in a special election, as you know. But here's where I want to dance with you a little bit, if I could.
Okay.
And that is on the constitutional point. The Speaker of the House has a lot of power that is given to him both by the Constitution and the rules of the House. What is it about your lawsuit that breaks through that? What is the precedent that you're relying on? And what do you anticipate the court's response to be given the first 2 points I've made? The constitutional power that rests in the Speaker to do what he's doing, to seat the members, and the rules of the House, which sort of, you know, put the gates around the building. So
here's the deal, Michael. What the Speaker does not have the right to do, and what the rules of the House cannot do, is it cannot contravene and supersede the Constitution. And the Arizonans have a constitutional right to seat their elected representative. And the case law shows that. There's a case called Powell where this sort of scenario played out. And it's very clear that if a member of Congress is duly elected and there's been a certification and there's been an election and no one is contesting the case
So those
here.
are triggers. 'Cause
Yes.
certification, no contest in
No
an election.
contest, and she meets all the qualifications. The only thing that Mike Johnson and the House of Representatives can legitimately do is question her qualifications and question the election. Nobody is questioning the election or her qualifications, and she has been certified. The governor and I and the Secretary of State of Arizona did that a week ago. And so, you know, time is up. How long is it going to take? And I think this sets a really dangerous precedent. Does now Mike Johnson think that in 2026 he can do the same thing if Democrats retake the House?
Were you on our call earlier? Because I said the same thing. I said this is what this is. This is a test case, and he is testing it. We have about a minute left, but while we have you, you know, we have heard a lot about just the impact on states, given what this administration is doing with the crackdown of the National Guard in these various cities. And while no one has come to Arizona yet, I put a yet on there, y'all, because we just don't know. You're a border state, and I keep hearing a lot about how all these different agency task force and these different agents are embedded in Chicago, in Portland, here in Washington, D.C. What is the impact on the work that you had been doing with the federal government in terms of enforcing the border now that resources are being pulled away?
Thank you for bringing that up. What this is doing to Arizona and every other border state is it's making us less safe. Because what they are literally doing, Simone, is they are taking dozens of DEA agents off of the beat in Arizona. They have taken DEA agents away from Arizona, which is the fentanyl epicenter of the country. More than 50% of all the fentanyl that comes into the United States comes through Arizona, but Donald Trump took 60 of our DEA agents and brought them here to Washington, D.C. to chase after landscapers and gardeners and folks who are just trying to work hard. That's insane. The same thing is happening to the FBI, the ATF, the Joint Terrorism Task Force. These agents are being pulled away from what their jobs are, which is to keep us safe, to go to Chicago, Portland, and other places and do this immigration agenda. And that is totally unacceptable. And I'm just worried about what could happen in the future as a result of it.